Hi, everyone. I'm here today to share a new little junk journal that I have been playing in this week. I actually put the whole thing together this week and thoroughly enjoyed it. It's filled with absolute junk mostly, and it is mainly food and food packages and labels and things like that. And then there's a few little embellishments that I've added throughout. So I wanted to just flip through it and show you guys what I did because I really highly recommend doing this. This is a cookie box that I made the cover from, and it's these little ginger snaps. I get these occasionally. These particular ones, I believe, oh yeah, Sweden, made in Sweden. They're just really good, and so I wanted to use the little box that they came in. It was actually shaped differently. It wasn't shaped like a journal. I had to fold it and manipulate it to the shape that I wanted, but I mainly wanted to use this because of the opening that's on it. On the cookie package, you could see the cookies all lined up in the cellophane package, and it's just very cute packaging, even when it was for cookies. And so I folded it and fixed it up to where I could use it for a journal cover. Then I added some fabric and some laces and bits and pieces like that. So that's what the cover's made from, and I'm gonna show you when I'm done flipping through it, I'll show you how I put it all together. So, the journal is, like I said, filled with food and snacks and, just things that I enjoy, and I put this little phrase in here, "These are a few of my favorite things," and I dated it. And these are not necessarily, all my favorite things, but they are things that I enjoy. And I thought it would be fun to have a little record of it, just to look back on for memory's sake, because, companies change their logos and their packaging and stuff all the time. And so these things start to look interesting when you run across an older one. I've noticed that already. So I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. As you can see, I put a goldfish package on the inside of the cover here. I put a different label on the back side, but I just embellished it with this little sticker. Now, on the goldfish package, it's folded over and glued closed, but then they always add this, or they actually just started doing this in the last little while. They've been putting a sticker over the where the fold is glued down, and you can't open your package without ripping through this sticker. And so it was terribly difficult to be able to get it off in one piece. And so I was so proud of myself when I finally got one off. I decided I'm definitely going to put it in a journal. So I put it here on the goldfish page, and it's just the white sticker, and I doodled around it. And then I glued it to a little scalloped circle that I had in a box here. What I'm doing is I'm using up a bunch of stuff. All of the stuff that is in here is either a package label or it's something from off of my desk, out of my scrap bins. I'm trying to just use up the little bits and pieces, and this is a great way to do it. So, this is a label from a can of peaches, and I stitched around the outside edge. I don't know if you can see the stitching. There we go. I just wanted to keep that in here because I enjoy putting peaches like this in peach cobbler when I make it. I enjoy it in my oatmeal in the mornings, and it's just a good memory. And this is a great memory keeping book, actually. And then on the next page, I've got my label from my oatmeal box. The little instant oatmeal packs that I eat are the cinnamon and spice flavor. And so I used the end of the box as a pocket. And then I had this little image of a coffee cup. So I just journaled on the back side of that and talked about how I enjoy starting my day with coffee and oatmeal. I add walnuts and fruit. I use cranberries, peaches, dates, etc. to give my oatmeal some variety. And I just think this is great for memory keeping, down the road, or for generations to come, or for my grandchildren to look through. It's fun for them to see, what I enjoyed. So I added a piece of fabric to the back side of this label because there are no papers in this journal like pages. I didn't I didn't have to gather up a bunch of papers to use as pages in this journal. The pages are the labels or the product packaging. So that was interesting too, and just different, Just little lace and buttons and little fabric tidbits here and there for embellishments. And then some of them didn't need any embellishment at all. Like this one is labeled from a can of okra and tomatoes. And I love that on white rice. Oh, so good. And then there's another variety where they add corn. And so I like both varieties of that. So I saved both of the labels. And then a can of carrots. I enjoy these little baby carrots. And so I added a little strip of scrapbook paper and a little piece of gift wrap and a little piece of scrapbook paper here for a tab. And it's just little bits, but it makes it so fun and enjoyable. Okay, so this page is the outside cardboard covering four cups of yogurt. And I just have yogurt every day, which was perfect for this everyday yummy. So I have this every day, and unless I run out and haven't replaced yet, but I typically have it every day, and I have different flavors that I love and enjoy. So I took the fruit, like you see the strawberries on this package. I took the fruit drawings, illustrations from other packages, and I glued them on here partially. I left it open um, pretty much, and I left this little decoration open because I want to add more fruits down here. I don't have the packages right now, so when I get more, I will add. For instance, this is the blueberry. Now, I cut this off of the foil top to the yogurt container, and I don't want to use this. I want to keep them all the paper ones, but I wanted to show you how pretty that color is going to look when I get the blueberry in there. And there's a couple of other flavors that I enjoy too, so I'll just kind of bunch those all up in there, and then I'll tack everything down. But I just love the way that worked out. Just added some little trim and flower bits up here just for decoration. And then over here, this is a strip of scrapbook paper scraps. And underneath, the red ruffle is a wrapper from a Tootsie Roll Pop. It's a lollipop wrapper. And, those are kind of like a big square. And so I just cut it into 4 strips, and I think I used 3 of them, and I just kind of folded it and bunched it up, and I kept pushing it under the sewing machine. So there's 3 pieces there making 1 ruffle. So I thought that was really fun. So love that page. And then on the other side, I have my Milano cookies that I love, and one of my little itty bitty mini scrap trims running down the edge. And that's one of the ones that I did some hand sewing on. And then I have some diced tomatoes. I enjoy putting these in tomato soup sometimes with basil and kind of making it a more hearty soup. So I wanted to remember that. And then there's other times when I just buy the one that's already got all that in it already. The tomatoes and the basil are already in there. So it's enjoyable. This is a little strip from one of my washi tapes that I made and put on a printable. And then over here, I've got a tea bag envelope, lemon ginger, which I really love. And so I use that as a pocket. So I put a little tag inside it. It's a yogi tea. And this flap here is covered with some fabric. And so on the back of that, I journaled about how I love anything with ginger. And when I make this tea, I also add extra ginger. I love it that much. I like to keep ginger juice here because I put it in my coffee. So I also put it in tea and I put it in other things too. It's delicious. All right. And then this page I absolutely love. This is from a package of eggs. And I loved this little scene. And the reason this is on here is because these are pasture raised eggs. And so that chickens get to roam around a lot more freely and are treated much more humanely, which I love. But that little picture was just precious, and so I made a whole little page that to me looks like a little farmy kind of scene. It's just so cute. And then this is another piece of product packaging, and it's from containers of mashed avocado. It's a beautiful image. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this. I love egg and avocado on toast, so I made sure I journaled that on the back and put it in here with a little bit of fabric that I just ripped and tied in a knot and stapled onto the top of the tag. And over here is my tomato soup label, and I just stitched around the outside, and then I added a little punched trim like this. I've got a punch that's Martha Stewart punch, and it punches out this little trim. So I thought that would be really cute on that red and white label. Love it. And then, of course, a peanut butter label. I have to have a peanut butter label because I love me some peanut butter too. Okay, and then over here is a soup that I really enjoy. I've got a couple of soups in here because I do like my soups. This one is a chicken and orzo with lemon, and it's so good. I highly recommend it. If you guys haven't tried this, try it. I like it so much that I found a recipe online and I've been making it myself, and it's really good. I will try my best to remember to link the recipe that I use for this. And if you try it, please let me know what you think of it because I really like it. And I hope you will too. But yeah, just leave a comment and let me know what you think of it. So there's spinach in there. Oh, it's so good. Okay, on to other things. This is the package, the little label from the package of turkey hot dogs that I like. I've got a little image of a hot dog somewhere. I'm going to have to find it because I want to put it right here. Just a little tiny image of a hot dog in a bun with mustard on it. So I'm going to find that and attach it right there. Okay, this is another of those soups by Progresso that I like, vegetarian vegetable. It's wonderful, wonderful vegetable soup. Really good with a hearty tomato broth. Oh, yummy. Okay, now this is um, package, a product package that takes me back to my childhood because I've been eating Cracker Jacks out of a little box just like this. This is a side panel, that's why it's repeated. But I've been eating a Cracker Jacks out of a box like this since I was a kid, and I thoroughly enjoy them. I don't eat it that much anymore, but I do still like it. So I made a little tag, little flag to put here that says "Yum," and it kind of gave me the red, white, and blue, savory look. I thought, and what I did was I stamped my little homemade stamp that says "Mooey." Actually, it says "Yum," but when you're carving a stamp, you have to do letters backwards. So anyway, this is my little "Yum" stamp, and I stamped it and then embellished it with little dots, and you know, like you do. So this is my favorite oranges. It's Cara oranges, and they're pink inside. It's actually really an orangey pink, but I mean they try to make it look like it's hot pink inside, and it's not. But it is a pinkish orange inside, and it's so good and very sweet and yummy. I just really love these oranges. So, and this is a plastic page. So I left it all inside just the way it was when I chopped off that mesh bag. So I left it on there. It's all kind of glued in places. And I did that so that I could just attach some things like with pins. Like this is a pin where I attach that. It says my favorite oranges. And this is a little whimsical heart I just cut out freehand and mounted it to a little piece of thicker paper to give it some, sturdiness. And I just sewed it onto the mesh. So it's really loose and all, but it's attached. But I love it. And then just decorated with some more of that tape and, just little bits. This is from a Cheerios box. And I found it in my stash of product packages. And so I just decided to staple it there as a little page tab. And on the back side, I kept that same, pink plastic bag there on the back of that cardboard tab. I just put a different piece of one of my painted paper washi tapes right there on that so that it's pretty instead of just the plain cardboard. Okay, now this is more about the Cracker Jack. This was important because nowadays when you get your surprise in your Cracker Jacks box, it's always a sticker. It's always a sticker. But when I was a kid, there were toys inside. Now they were tiny little toys, but they were much more fun. So I just noted that on my little journaling card here that when I was a child, the prize was so much more fun. We got a tiny magnifying glass or tiny books or a writing slate. You know, those little slates with the plastic cover, and you could write on it. And then when you were done, you lifted the plastic sheet and it would erase it. That's what they had in there, only it was a little tiny one. And my favorite of all was when I would find a ring as the prize in my Cracker Jacks, and it wasn't very often. And that was just the most special prize a little girl could get, right? So that's a really sweet memory right there. And then I also included, now the prize is always a sticker. Wah wah. Because stickers are like everybody. I mean, you can get stickers anywhere. It's not as special as those little miniature toys we used to get. But I had fun making this little pocket out of a piece of fabric. This is that mattress sticking fabric. I added a little string. This is from I had some Christmas tags. These were gift tags from a Christmas here recently, and I just took the little string off of the top, and I sewed it right across the piece of fabric there before I attached it, and I glued the little pocket down, and then bunched up a little piece of fabric to make a little bow and stuck a little button on there. Just fun. This is just so fun to use these little bits and pieces and make fun things out of them. So y'all need to make you one if you haven't already. Okay, now this one folds out, and it's a little panel from Frozen Dinner I like to get. It has such a beautiful picture on it too. I wanted to make sure I included that. And over here, I had added a piece of a security envelope. You can see it back there, a little gray and white stripe. And it was just a little too plain, so I dressed it up with a piece of tissue paper that I had made when I was making some collage fodder, and just take colored ballpoint pens, as all this is, and just doodled and kept doing it over and over. And so then I just cut out a piece of that from this little sheet and glued it down. I just used a glue stick and glued it down right on top of the security envelope, and it just made it so much more fun. It's so whimsical now. So I love that. Okay, and then the next page is some pasta that I like, the little mini penes. They're little, about this big. I just decorated it with a little strip of red and white paper, a little piece of one of my tapes, and a little daisy that I have on my current Ko-fi printable. If you guys are interested in my printables, I have a membership over on Ko-fi where you will receive a brand new printable sheet from me every month. And that one is on this month's page. I think I have it right here. Let me grab it. That'd be a good thing to show you. Okay, so here it is, the one for this month. It's very sweet and whimsical. So I have a little house here that I made on a piece of coffee stained paper. And I added a door, and I drew in some little plants and added some windows. And then the roof of the house, what you do is you make this a pocket. So you glue it down on the bottom and the two sides. And then when you cut this piece out, it tucks down in the box, the bottom of the house, and the roof of the house then goes on top of it. Does that make sense? It ends up being a hidden journaling spot. And these are little daisies that I was talking about that I put on the corner here of my page. And I made a little washi tape and some hearts and some leaves and a sweet little hand lettered quote. They're always so fun. So anyway, that's on my Ko-fi page. I will link it at the end of this video if anybody's interested. I just want you to know about it. Okay, this next page is so fun and so sweet. This little bee came off of a bag of apples. And I just love this little bee. I think he's the most adorable little thing. It actually reminds me of pictures that my mom used to draw. So, yeah, it has a double special meaning. Originally, the bee is holding up an apple, a large apple on the bag. And so, since most of that got cut away, I just cut out a little apple from a piece of scrapbook paper and I added it in his hand there. So he's still holding the little apple. And I put a label down here and I just wrote the name of the apples, the little sugar bee apples. They're very good. And got the stitching around the outside and just so that's one of my favorite little pages right there. And then on the back side of that one, it has the same stitching. And this is a sticker from a pack of butternut squash ravioli, which I do love. And I added a little daisy, a little laced daisy. And on this side is, of course, my coffee page. I gotta include my coffee. Those of you that have been with me for a while, you know I made a coffee journal, and I have a little story about my 8 o'clock coffee in there that's a lot of fun. In fact, I will try and remember to link my coffee journal playlist at the end of this video. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to check it out. Lots of fun journal making in that in that series. And even if you have seen it, you might want to watch it again just to refresh your memory, because it's fun. That coffee journal was fun, and you can apply it to tea or whatever beverage you like, or any other theme, really, any subject. But yeah, that's my coffee label. And then here's my ginger juice that I like to put in my coffee, which is delicious. This one is mandarin oranges label. These are canned mandarins. I love both fresh and canned. And these from the can are really good in a salad. I make a salad with spinach and these mandarin oranges and walnuts, and then use a little vinaigrette dressing. It's a great summer salad for sure. And I just attached a little orange spiral clip there. And on the other side, it was a circle. So I just put a little happy face sticker right in the middle. And this is a label from some apple maple chicken sausage, which is so yummy. I like to have that with eggs. And then this side is my pumpkin label from a can of pumpkin. I use this when I make my pumpkin pies in the fall. And I also, in the fall, put a spoonful or two of pumpkin in my oatmeal. So yummy. And then I add a few extra spices, and so it tastes very, very much like fall in my oatmeal. And then this is just a button on a green scrapbook paper circle. I thought was really sweet on there. And then on this side, I have a label of pasta sauce that I really like. It's pumpkin pasta sauce. So delicious. So if you get a chance to find this, Cucina Antica homemade flavored Tuscany pumpkin pasta sauce, get it because it's really good. It's a little pricier than your typical tomato sauce, but it is so worth it. So good. So I just put that label there, and then I added some more paper at the bottom, and just some little embellishments. And then this is a can of white corn that I add a little washi tape over here. And this is a little leaf from a hand-drawn leaf from one of my other um, printables. And it makes a perfect little page tab. Love that. All right. So in the center here, I've got a panel from the Eggo waffles that I like. These are cinnamon toast waffles, and they're the little minis. It's the regular size, and then they break apart and make 4 little mini ones, but they're really good. I don't have these for breakfast. I typically have these as a snack. So I'll just take one out of the freezer and pop it in the toaster oven, and have it. And they're right about this where it says no syrup needed because they're sweet on their own. And then this is a label from my beets. I love beets. I especially love pickled beets. This right here back here is the other side of the pasta sauce label. I kept it because I loved how they did the ingredients list in a script, like a handwritten font. I love that. I was just so impressed by that. I was like, that is so cool. So I had to keep that. And then at the bottom of that page, I just decided to make a little cluster here. It kind of started with this little bird that I had cut out of I believe it was a card making magazine. And so it kind of started with that little bird. And then I found a little scrap of seam binding that I had colored years ago. I used some Dylusion spray and colored it. and it was just a little scrap of it, so I just twisted it up and made a little nest for this bird to sit in, and then I just tucked some other little paper scraps and things all around it and made a cute little cluster. I love how that looks. Very random and fun. And then, of course, I added this little green heart that I stamped. So here's one of those tags. I was showing you the string earlier. Well, I used the tag also. And it's on this side, I'm using the end of it as a page tab. But on this side, I used the tag as a pocket, and I just kind of decorated it with more scraps and a sticker. And then I kept the back of the the pumpkin can label because it has the pumpkin pie recipe on it. And that's the actual recipe that I use to make pies that I've always used to make pumpkin pies with. So that was a good memory. So there's so much in here about memory keeping. I really like that. I'm using a maple syrup label off of a bottle. I soaked it off and then I attached it to a piece of cardstock so it could go in and out of the pocket easier. And then I glued some spinach that I cut out of a magazine and some tomatoes I cut out of a magazine. When I laid the spinach and tomatoes on the white, just the plain white cardstock, I didn't like it too much, and so I felt like it needed a little bit more in the background. So I used that green leafy tissue paper that I've used before. I put this on it, and I love how that looks now on the background. It just makes it look so much more interesting. All right, now this is the back of that mandarin orange label. And so it was white, just plain white. So I just put a little watercolor on the background there and stamped some little dots. And then I just cut out these cute little fresh fruit images that I had saved, not knowing when and where I was going to use it, but it turned out this was a perfect place. So I added that on there and then just doodled around the edge and had a blast, honestly. This whole little journal has just been so much fun. Okay, and then I had to include a little panel from a box of Peeps. I used to buy these for my kids, Easter, and then they started making them for all these different holidays, which I thought was kind of fun. But I usually only had them once a year. I've cut back on those because I figure pure sugar is probably not a good thing to be eating a lot of. They're good. But I don't eat them so much anymore. But I did want to keep the memory of it. And I cut this little chick off of the box too and decided to put it on here on this little piece of rickrack trim and dangle it like a little charm just because it's fun, right? And that's what this whole thing is about, fun and memories and just enjoyment. This one is, I believe, a package of Little Debbie cakes, and it had such a beautiful floral pattern. I kept it, and it came in handy. Found it in my box of scraps. So, since this last page was about avocados, it was a label from the avocados bag. I used this little panel, this little fold-out panel, to put this sticker on because they're just adorable. So cute. And I was so glad that I had that little sweet little avocados. And I don't know where I got that. Somebody may have sent it to me. I don't know. But if you did, thank you. I love it dearly. And I love being able to use it in this journal. And I'm sure there's going to be little things that I'm going to come back through and stick here and there because that's how we do with our journals. They're never ever really finished. So just today, I added this little piece of washi tape. It says coffee because I thought that would be fun to have there, and folded it over to the back, and that's my journal. So how I made it was I took labels and packages and made 3 separate signatures. Okay, and you can see those through the little hole in the end, which I love. And before I sewed them into the cover, what I did was I took each signature and I sewed it together with a pamphlet stitch with white thread, just regular old sewing thread. I doubled it up and I just sewed the signature together. So I sewed together that one, and then I sewed together this one, and then I sewed together this one. So then that way, when I got ready to attach the pages into the cover, they weren't going to fall and slip around. So I thought that would be a good idea, and especially because I wasn't going to be able to sew the signatures into the middle of the book because there is no middle. It's all open. I made 3 little penciled in guidelines so that I could punch some holes. So I'll show you on the end. I punched 2 holes at the top and 2 holes at the bottom. For each signature, I did that. Okay, all the way down, did 3. And so my signatures are sewn into my book on just the top and bottom edges. Because the pages are all sewed together, I could do that, and nothing was gonna fall out. So I just sewed each little signature into its little space, you can see, and it's just one little stitch. One stitch here and tied a knot, one stitch here and tied a knot, and I did that 6 times. And that made my journal. I was so happy I figured out a way that I could sew my signatures in and include having this little hole in the middle. I just thought that was so fun being able to see inside there. So that's my little junk journal. And I'm going to enjoy having it, looking through it. And I think that my kids and grandkids and anybody else to come later when I'm long gone will enjoy looking through it and seeing what was enjoyed back in 2024 and what packages and things look like. And maybe it helps you learn a little bit more about me. I don't know. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the flip through, and I hope you'll make one yourself. If you'd like to do one, just start saving some labels. You know, soak a label off of a pickle jar and cut a label off of a can of vegetables you like. And before you know it, you've got a box or a container full of fun memorabilia that you can take into a journal. So I hope you'll do it. And let me know if you do or if you already have. I'd like to hear about that. So I'm going to close this one out. I appreciate so much your watching, commenting, and sharing the video and subscribing. Thanks so much. We will see you again soon in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.